Well, hello again, everyone. It's me, Nick Michalak, and the stupendous Steve Frazier.
Thank you. Hello again.
And for now, we're concluding the Conjuring franchise commentary series.
You never say never.
For now, there's talks of a fourth film. Spin-offs are in the nebulous range for us right now. It depends on what you guys want us to do. If we get bored and we need some shit to talk about,
Annabelle.
maybe we'll get to it. Anyway, guys, we're doing Conjuring 3, aka Conjuring the Devil Made Me Do It today. This is a film that I like kind of a bit. Steve very much did not like this one.
Maybe my opinion will change.
We'll see how things go along as we discuss certain things. But guys, if you have your own copy of the film, turn your subtitles, move your timestamp all the way over to 0 so we can get synced up with the countdown and get going. So, in 3, 2, 1, play.
You know, you asshole, you changed my mind on the second one a little bit. You brought me down to earth.
Sure.
So, who knows? Maybe I'll come back up and meet you in the middle on this one.
Yeah. Not that I love this one, but I kind of dig some of the vibes in it. There's certain elements that I do feel like that doesn't quite work for me as well. But this is the first one in the main series not directed by James Wan.
Did he write it?
Producer, at least.
Okay. I know he's involved. I just didn't know to what extent.
It's kind of I think it's on the cover. David Johnson McColdrick is the writer on this one, which he also worked on the second one. I think maybe the first one. He's written a lot of James Wan films, so.
Nice little establishing shots.
Yeah.
Kind of setting it up like The Strangers, where you show
yeah.
the end first and then backtrack a little to see how you got there. $1981.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like a good exorcism. We haven't seen one of those in a while, right?
It's like every year there's another exorcism movie coming out.
Yeah, and I think David Gordon Green did the last one with
Exorcist Believer.
Yeah.
No, that thing.
And he's done.
He's done. The critical reception was such a bomb that he just moved on to. I think it's Mike Flanagan doing it now.
Yeah, Flanagan's doing something.
Who's got a lot more traction going for him in a career.
Flanagan's got a lot going on. He's doing a couple of Stephen King properties.
He's been working on a Dark Tower adaptation.
Yeah, I think that one's going to be for TV.
Yeah, I think that was the case. That feels more right with how many books there is. They tried to cram everything into like a 110-minute movie before.
Yeah, no good.
That was no good.
Love the light bright.
Yeah. They're always really good at the production design of these things, getting pretty close on the money for the time periods.
Now, is this based on a real case? Any of it?
Yes. This one's more of an amalgamation of different cases. The main one here with this guy, Arnie Johnson, was based on an actual case where he was tried and I believe convicted of some charge of murder. Where it was the entire thing where they said the devil made me do it. That was the defense of the whole thing.
That's right. I want to say it was the first time that was ever used, right?
Right.
This guy's the dad?
He's the older brother, I believe.
Oh, I was going to say, he looks way too young to be the dad.
Yeah. He had a bit of a Irish name or something like that. Like Ruairi or Connor, but it's spelled Ruairi. So.
They're really ripping off the old
yeah.
Exorcist here.
Like, do you have to be that on the nose? Like, every Exorcist movie that's come out since 1973 is chasing the Exorcist. You don't need to kind of
Right.
You don't need to do that. We already know.
Like he literally, he got out of a cab and stood there in the silhouette and like, no.
You don't need, especially 5 minutes of the movie.
Right, that scene in The Exorcist takes place like 90 minutes in.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that shower curtain's going to save you, kid.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I remembered the Arnie character. Arnie,
I think.
Arnie. I had a gym teacher named Arn that was spelled that way. Not to be confused with the great Arn Anderson, but
sure.
It was Arne, but it was pronounced Arn, so I didn't know if the Hardy or not. Anyway, I always thought that was the dad. I just remembered it being like the father figure.
Okay.
But if it's his brother, that makes a little
I think
better.
that's the case.
That's kind of a cool visual, but that feels like a dad.
Yeah, truly.
Turn the light on.
Yeah.
No shit. We should probably hurry up. This child is stabbing people.
Yes.
Is that guy there on the bottom is part of their crew, right?
Yeah,
like he was in the other
he's
movies.
been in the other ones. Yeah, I like that consistency.
How did he do that? That's not... Unless you're saying that the devil is doing
Sure,
that.
yeah. There's a foam.
I like that. Good foam. Good foam. The kid, again, doing a marvelous job,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
the kids are always the best actors in any of this. Oh, she's just having one of her visions.
Yeah.
You know how she does, where
Yeah.
she predicts the future
Sure,
and all
yeah.
kinds of other shit.
Your most contentious quality of these films.
It is. It's so dumb. Like, I personally don't believe in any of this,
Sure.
but
Oh, there
that
you
was
go.
good. That was good.
Hit by the porcelain.
The good China. I'm accepting of the idea of possession in movies.
Sure, yeah.
And for some reason, I'm much more believable or susceptible to believing that than I am to somebody having
Clairvoyance.
random premonitions that are all true. Like, it's not like she ever has some that are wrong.
Yeah.
Or that, you know,
The best sort is something that's vague that they can't quite decipher what it's telling them.
right.
Yeah, this is good.
The bones cracking, oh yeah,
They
this
got an
is good.
actual young female contortionist for this entire thing.
Perfect. Look at that. That's great. You got to see Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Sure,
That movie
yeah.
is fucking brilliant. Oh, he did say Arnie.
Yeah. There you go.
That was so good. Like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
visuals here are fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good starting off with a hot sequence like this.
You have to,
You get
right?
thrown right in.
See, We don't need any of this bullshit. I mean, again, this kid is awesome.
Yeah. Now the entire take me again, it's tapping right on The Exorcist.
It really is.
Yeah, it's a little too on the nose. I mean, it wouldn't be as on the nose if it wasn't right up in front of the movie. If you waited an hour or something like that, and you eased into what the movie was doing, you could give it more license. But when you kind of jump in 5-10 minutes in, and you're just tapping it right on the nose.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily.
It's a little harder to kind of accept it in a way.
The idea
It doesn't jump out as hard at you if you waited later on.
Maybe. The idea that he said, take me and whatever, like, I don't think that that's necessarily
sure
a ripoff.
Sure, I'm just saying after the
that establishing shot,
the iconography of the establishing shot, it just kind of, it really puts it in your mind.
Right, you're thinking of it. So now it's selective remembering, right? So now you're only seeing the similarities and not the differences. But it does make sense in the world of this universe that anybody that is under the possession of the devil, and you say, oh, well, I don't want this to be happening to my young family member. I'd rather it be happening to me.
Yeah, and this one, like I said, they took, instead of just like, okay, we're just going to take this case and try to weave an entire wider story around it, they're just like, okay, we got like a bunch of different case files, let's take a piece from this thing, piece from that thing, and just kind of patch it together to kind of create a bigger story that kind of just fictionalizes the entire story around something that had some basis in fact.
Which is pretty common, I think, for...
Yeah. Or like the last one, there's a lot of things just like so documented about what happened with the Enfield poltergeist thing. It's like, okay, you're so you feel such a commitment to kind of replicating what had been documented. This one can be it just decides to be a little more looser on so many things, and I think if you're going to keep going on with this series, I think you kind of have to do that.
Yeah, I suppose you're going to run out of things that
are notable or can be as documented, and you have to start getting a little
creative
and, like I said, looser with what you're going to do with that. Yeah, this one is helmed by Michael Chaves, he had done Curse of Lal, the Llorona or something like that, which was marketed as kind of a Conjuring universe film, but people are still divided about whether or not it really has anything to do with anything. And then they gave him The Nun too. So the other ones he's done in the franchise, a lot of people don't think are terribly good.
There's that clock radio that everybody had in the 80s. Yeah. There's The Nun there on the right in the cinder block. I don't know if you saw it.
I was looking at the cinder block. I didn't catch it.
One of those little Easter eggs, right?
Oh, see if there's another wide shot.
It's not, I don't think it's a Funko, but it's something.
Huh.
Ain't nobody getting up and leaving. See it there on the right?
Okay, yeah.
He's got a little, like, Bill Skarsgård in him.
Yeah, he's got that.
Eddie Redmayne, maybe?
Yeah. The kind of tall, lanky look to him.
Like, interesting shaped face.
Yeah.
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 A boarding kennel and a mechanic. in the same building as their apartment. That's like Abdullah the Butcher's, like, sushi and ribs or whatever it is. He's got some weird...
Yeah.
some restaurant in Atlanta.
And this film was shot
There's Rock and Roll Over up there on the top right. Hello.
Yeah, this one was shot by Michael Burgess, who I think was the son of Don Burgess, who shot the previous film in the franchise.
Oh, a little nepotism, eh?
Maybe something here. But like with that steady cam flowing shot, it keeps a certain like cinematic consistency throughout the films.
Yeah, these shots. I don't know if it's a filter or whatever, but it definitely brings it down into that
little tight, slightly muted color scheme.
Right, like it makes it feel like a throwback, right?
Yeah.
Like this feels like 1981.
Yeah.
Much like the other ones felt like the years
70s,
that they right, yeah. Oh, you dirty dog.
At least you didn't double dip a chip.
No, you can't double dip a chip.
No.
The hell kind of cereal was that? Some sort of knockoff.
Maybe.
That's the worst place you could put that.
Yeah, that's a little precarious.
Jesus, you idiot. Yeah, they're not like Fruit Loops, and they're not Fruity Pebbles.
A scar on the molding there.
Oh, it's just a rat. That's a big rat for a box of cereal. Yeah, there's all kinds of...
Yeah, it's still the same house the opening happened in.
What a ridiculous hole in the wall for there to just be rats going in and out of.
Yeah.
Like...
Or some weird black goop is on it.
Right, can you patch that, sir? What is the goop?
That's the problem with wallpaper. You can't just spackle over and put wallpaper. You gotta take it all down and redo it.
Yeah. Wallpaper's such a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, can you hang a picture or something over it?
Sure.
The hell was that? Dr. Merrick? Wasn't Merrick one of the characters in... Oh, it was Marin.
Marin.
Who's Merrick? That's somebody.
I don't know.
I was going to say, then I would have really been pissed if they were going to...
Yeah, they're getting too... If they got that far off. No. Let's dial it back a little.
Yeah, it was Marin. Who's Merrick? That's going to drive me nuts now. Do we know if this is based in factual? Did Warren have a heart attack in 1981?
I don't know. I can skim through a few things. Better if I just search Ed Warren heart attack.
Yeah. See, even they met at the movies. It's the most perfect place. It's magical. Nothing will ever beat the cinema.
There's an article saying, did he actually have a heart attack?
But it doesn't answer the question?
Know, give me a moment. There's one of those weird fade outs again. That's weird. So it says he didn't suffer a heart attack during this exorcism, but apparently did have heart attacks later in life. And that's contributed to his passing.
What year did he die? Do you know?
Age 79 in the 2000s. Passed away in 2006.
Here's one of the... I like these low shots, like we've always talked about.
I think Lorraine Warren passed, I think, roughly around the time this film came out.
Really? Like in the COVID era?
I don't... Give me a second. She passed... 2019, so probably around the time they were starting filming on this.
Yeah, I think this was supposed to come out in 2020, right?
I think they had to postpone reshoots on the film because of it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought COVID delayed it.
Yeah. I think they released it in about June of 2021. It still made over $200 million, so...
Well, again, this is one of those things, right? You can basically slap the name on anything.
Yeah.
And people are going to come out to watch it.
Yeah. There's only $39 million spent on the film, so they've budgeted these films very sensibly.
$39 million is still a shitload of money, though. A lot of it's probably special effects and back end.
Yeah. I'm sure Wilson and Farmiga probably get a little pay above every single time.
Right. No, it's not. How do you know that, though? I guess because he saw it before.
Yeah, I think he saw the whole thing.
It's not like they're saying that he dreamt it or some shit.
And
right,
so forth, and...
except for the Blondie.
You hate Blondie.
God, I hate Blondie. Why is the Calumet baking powder in the living room? I love that Rock and Roll Over. They should have put that on.
I was trying to figure out who the other photo is.
I thought it was... Yeah, I don't know.
Everyone in the 70s had a fucking beard. You can't tell them one from another.
I know. We're real close on a zoom in, too. What's he drinking? I couldn't tell what the beer was, either. The song Call Me is on the radio and she's trying to call.
Yeah.
That's bad.
A little.
It's too much. I hate that shit. Like, it can be done well, but oftentimes it's not.
Again, it's already putting a few too many things on the nose there. So, the more you pile on,
there's like
the more egregious it gets.
3 different beer cans.
Oh, it's still out of focus. I can't tell. Damn it.
There's Black Sabbath. So wait, the exorcism took place in the kennel, above the kennel?
I'm supposing so.
I guess so. That does not look good. How come the devil can't ever possess a dog or a cat or something? And Like, that's a movie. Right? I suppose we've had the Pet Sematary series? Question mark. I don't know if that's quite possession. Not really, but it's in the same ballpark. I guess. They didn't really show you a lot of what was going on there. Good lenses they got on there.
Yeah.
Good makeup. Although, in today's day and age, I don't trust that anything is makeup. It's all just camera.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's like...
Did they touch it up?
Maybe they whited his eyes out after the fact. I don't know. I mean, all things with the veins and everything, that's probably at least practical, but...
Is it, though? Like, I don't trust anything.
Well, because even then in the shot, there's like the opacity of the eyes thins out, so they might have done it all digitally completely, and there was no contacts at all. How do you think?
Broad daylight, huh? It's never just regular daylight. It's always broad daylight.
No one ever says, "Oh, it's overcast daylight."
Right. I don't understand. Why is daylight always broad?
Yes.
Always.
You don't always need an adjective.
There's a terrible outfit, Lorraine.
Yeah, it's always a thing. It's like they always dress her as like a what you look as an old woman would dress herself, and it always kind of looks odd when you have her.
I mean, she does kind of look like she's getting ready to play the Grand Ole Opry, doesn't she?
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, it just looks a little incongruous to me. It just feels a little off. All the stuff on Wilson always looks nice.
He's kind of timeless.
Yeah, he's such a good actor, and he just feels like he could make it something set in the 30s, the 60s, anything you want, and he just has that
he's kind of Joe
movie star feel to him.
Yeah. Why is it that they don't have the other priest there? Is that
I don't know.
Is that the regular?
It's a different padre, yeah.
Is that like the prison padre?
Maybe, yeah.
He really looks good in that suit.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's got a different outfit on right there. She's got the same outfit on, but I think he's wearing something different.
It might be the lighting or something that changed.
Maybe. Well, that doesn't matter. I believe that the jury just has to have reasonable doubt, correct?
Yes.
So, especially the older you get, the more there are people that believe in this kind of bullshit.
Sure.
So, I feel like it would be fairly easy for these two specialists to convince 1 out of the 12 that it's real.
And back in 81, I would feel there's a much more prevalent religious community of sorts.
Well, that's what I mean. The older you get, the bigger that
further back
population.
you get.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what you're saying. Yeah.
So, in 81,
there's a lot more devout religious believers out there at the time this is taking place.
September 19th, we're coming up on the anniversary of this. 43 years ago.
The bailiff, like he knows shit.
Which, FYI, he's still currently demonically possessed. So, wouldn't it be great if the devil would just show itself while they were in the courtroom?
If you just freaking instigate something.
Right. Oh yeah, there was no handicap ramp there.
Oh no, not back then, man. You can fall over yourself for all they cared.
I love this town square business in the background.
Curious where they photographed. I'd probably put my money on Georgia.
It looks like Georgia.
And I would... Filming took place in Atlanta, Georgia.
I don't think this is in Atlanta, but...
I figured, A, tax breaks, and 2, it looks southern.
Yeah. Where is it supposed to be taking place? Do you remember?
Back. Connecticut, so...
Oh.
Far away from Georgia.
All right.
So, any which way.
Well, now we got to go backwards. So I guess here's an interesting editing choice, right? They could have started the movie with this.
Sure.
And gone chronologically.
Yeah. But as the Warrens are kind of looking back through testimony and evidence, fill in the parts of the story when they learn about it.
Actually, this is... Yeah, that's better. Mm-hmm. This is not the same place. I mean, the house is the same house, but I'm saying that where the Arnie lives with his girlfriend above the kennel is not where the exorcism took place. That's just their little place, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's...
Toys. That's it? All the toys are in that box? Oh, the old waterbed.
Oh, yeah. Parents had one.
My dad had one, yeah.
You had to hook the hose up to the faucet.
Yeah, what a nightmare.
Yeah.
If that prick sprung a leak, you were
fucked.
Oh, my God. Walking on it with your shoes will do that.
Yeah, that's not... You don't do that.
Also, Fred Krueger might be inside.
For a wet dream.
Aw, Joey. R.I.P. Joey. He got to look at a lot of titties for such a young man. Isn't it never mind, I won't go into the Joey story. This house came with a waterbed? Covered with a sheet?
That would seem weird. You're just like, I don't want to bother with draining this damn thing, so just leave it.
Right.
But that thing had to cost you probably at least 4 figures.
Probably back then, yeah.
Yeah, that was brand new stuff.
Right, and that was luxury living.
Oh, yeah.
No questions like, how did this kid get soaking wet?
Yeah.
I love the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
What is she dreaming again here? She's hallucinating?
Feels more like a transitional thing. Would have been better if he didn't turn and look at her.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose back then they did, the water ruins the wood floor,
yeah.
and you just don't have the means to replace it.
Yeah.
Looks like water damage to me. Jesus, get a broom or some shit. How long have you lived there?
I like his sort of old school gentlemanly things like, oh, you're going to ruin your dress to go in there. It's like, she can handle it just fine. He's just so used to being the man.
Right.
And just leading the charge and everything. And he's hard adapting to the having to step back and take it easy.
Well, he's got a cane now.
Yeah, too.
How creepy is a crawl space under the house?
We had one. Spiders everywhere. It's all gravel and shit. I mean, never terribly liked to have to go down there. Just crawling on the freaking concrete foundation, everything. It ain't fun. You're ducking beneath all the shit down there, all the pipes and everything. And if you're finding something that's all the way back in the corner, it's like, oh, fuck, man.
Well, I just always got a kick out of these ones that were...
Like dirt.
Dirt, right. Like Gacy style, right?
You know?
Like he got 22 bodies down there.
Jeez.
That's too many rats.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Too many rats for me. The one might have been enough to turn me around, but 100
The
more.
oversized sewer rat.
Well, it was a helpless, defenseless little kitten.
My little kittens.
So many little kittens in this crawl space.
Goop.
Oh, drooping goop. These are well-trained rats. These are working rats.
No.
You get them at Rats R Us.
Rat Wrangler.
What do they got there? Little rack of lamb?
Oh.
Oh, no. We used to have those cameras.
Yeah.
I didn't have the kind that you pushed in to reload it like that, but the long, the thin rectangle camera.
Yeah.
We used to have to put the little light cubes up on the top.
Yeah.
The little flash bulbs, I guess they were called. The whole concept here
Okay.
is a little...
I mean,
at least it's different than the other movies.
that's what I was going to say. At least they've gone off on a different direction, where it's more occultism than it is sort of like just another possession movie.
It really would have been bad if they'd have just done a third haunted house.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny that in the community here, everybody always knows everybody?
Sure.
Like, oh, remember that time 4 states away when so-and-so did something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That's beautiful. Looks like Georgia. Doesn't look like Connecticut, that's for sure.
Yeah. This year could get past for a little New England to a degree.
Yeah, but I buy it more in the South.
Yeah, especially with the little waterfall deal back there. Fabulous John Noble.
I would care. I would care for an omelet. Thank you. Nothing better than fresh chicken eggs. Oh.
Should use that line every so often.
Maybe I should. Like when I'm at work.
Yeah. Hey, an interesting reaction to get.
I don't think it would play over very well. So, how do you know that it's a nasty piece of work and not something that 3 kids put together in the backyard? You know what I mean?
Well, they're gonna get that he was. I don't know if you want to use the word infiltrate like he was a fucking FBI agent or something like that, but he kind of got involved with certain cults and kind of learned from in the interior of them a lot of this crap.
I'm just saying. I guess if you're an expert.
If you're an expert, you know the real shit from someone just fucking around with stuff that's a bunch of bullshit.
Right. But at this point, they don't know that he is an expert. Other than he's seen it before.
Yeah. But they wouldn't have driven all this way out here if they thought he would just didn't have much of a knowledge about anything. Nice sort of close up on him. John Knowles, just an actor, just really floors the hell out of me, man.
What are some of the other things you've seen him in?
Well, he was Denethor, Steward of Gondor.
Excuse me?
In Return of the King.
Oh, okay, got it.
Boromir's father. He was basically like this Shakespearean tragedy all of his own in the entire film.
That seems familiar now.
And recently, as I started watching the animated series Star Trek Project, he is voice actor on the series, and he has done a wonderful job on that.
That's comedy in 1981. And you can tell all of it. It's these people, quote unquote, by looking at a picture of a thing found in somebody's basement. This is the kind of thing in movies that drives me nuts. Like, I get that you have to get your information from somewhere, but they go to see these people, And he talks for 20 minutes here, telling backstory and lore.
Okay.
And it's like, that's the basis of the whole movie. I don't know. It's like,
I just love everything he's doing with his expression. It just, this subtle terror beneath the surface that he knows how bad this stuff is and how dangerous it is.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's got a whole goddamn warehouse of den of artifacts and
it's
books and
it's kind of a mirror on the Warrens themselves. They've got the exact same thing at home, but they've chosen a different angle to go at this stuff. They do it to help people, and he's kind of delved a lot more into the dark edge of these things and seen terrifying stuff from it.
Isn't he due for a bout of possession here? I mean, he's only had one
Right.
since he's been taken over.
Yeah.
I mean, and never when anybody else was around. He's also a really good actor.
Oh, yeah.
I think now after, nearly 200 commentaries, we don't have to keep rehashing the idea that genre pictures are overlooked for good acting.
Oh, yeah.
And just creepy shit like that.
Oh. You're not gonna let the song die, man.
Why? Why? Could you not pick a better song than that?
Should go through the 81 chart, see what was hot that time.
Shit. So many things were hot. My favorite song of all time, released in 1981. Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Yes.
For anyone new around here. Have they even really told us what it is? You know what I mean? The gathering of the little statue?
I think it's just like a witch's totem or something like that. They don't really specify exactly what it's supposed to do. I don't know.
They're not really telling us.
That looks like Massachusetts.
Yeah, that for sure looked real.
Yeah, so as I went back through my hardcover comic book collected edition, the main story in the thing is a prequel to Jessica's story. And I thought it was they did a fantastic job writing this whole thing and drawing it. The whole thing's wonderful.
So, yes, we're aware that this thing is whatever it is, but that's the first time they've used the word totem. See, I'm more in line with him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no shit. Like, isn't that the point of this whole conversation? I don't know. I wish they would tell us a little more of what... I guess they don't really know, but...
Sure. That's the thing. It's a mystery story, so you have to peel back things a little bit at a time. Yeah, I like that dynamic between the two of them. Like, Ed's very protective of her. He's kind of... He's not even like a macho type of thing. It just it feels like it has to be a guy out in front and being the husband and being kind of that classic archetype of a man in society. And she's a little bit more progressive in that type of way, and she can stand up for herself and assert herself more. So I like that the shifting of the dynamic, why they put the heart attack thing into the story. They kind of give them something a little bit different to play with on this one.
She definitely is kind of taking more of the lead role.
Yeah. Oh, that's a better song.
Well, again, and they even put it in the dialogue about how it was appropriate that they were playing that song because he's suspicious of her.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be every time, guys.
Every time on the nose stuff, yeah. But also, since they did the Elvis stuff for the second film, maybe it's something about that too. I don't know. Compared to the Blondie song, it's a much better song.
Agreed. So wait, who did he kill? His dad?
The guy with the other shop there and everything.
Oh, right. The makeup on his eyes are really good.
Yeah. Yeah, the pale complexion, the red around the eyes, it's very subtle work. I do like the fact that they kind of sidestep doing like a procedural court drama aspect of the story that just kind of keep it more focused on the human characters and how they're dealing with the situation. So I think at least not making it so much the core thing, because all the core stuff would be well documented and stuff like that. You can just be a little more looser and just do what you want with a story when you're not dealing with that sort of thing right in the court and trying to convince the audience that you're trying to do something to convince the court of certain things and kind of go through the motions and everything. It just feels like if they did that, it feels like it would be a much drier type of thing. You want to keep it more focused on either the human quality of the story or trying to focus more on the mystery horror elements.
I'm kind of failing to see the mystery. Other than the idea that they've come up with the fact that it's a curse
Yes.
And who did it?
Yeah.
Is that the mystery?
That's basically the mystery. Who did it and why.
Who put the curse?
And how to break it, too.
Don't you think that how to break it would be more important than who put it? Unless one begets the other.
Probably.
What? Oh, I guess she was... Okay, I see. I see. Sorry.
Yeah.
She's dreaming again. I got it.
Yeah, like I said, the comic book prequel they put there for these characters was very haunting. It's very scary. I mean, this comic book goes like full bore on the gore stuff. It's really disturbing imagery.
And it's the story of these two?
Yeah, basically Jessica, as she's being she's over at college being very isolated and very kind of homesick. And she's being haunted by this Satanist and the curse and everything like that. And it's constantly deteriorating and deconstructing her life, where she's like hallucinating things and attacking people, and just like it's doing everything to crush her spirit down to the point where she ends up killing her best friend through a hallucination here in this sequence. And she's tortured enough where she commits suicide from it all.
Meanwhile, Lorraine is just taking over. That's the part I don't like. Like, I just don't buy that she can enter the memory of somebody. I guess I just have a hard time with all of it because I just don't believe in any of it.
Okay.
But I find that to be the most unbelievable.
Okay. Well, it's such a dynamic between the two of us. Like, you're a little more, you need a little more of a texture, a little tangibility to the story. I'm willing to, like, okay, it's interesting me, I'll go with it.
Ow, that would hurt.
I mean, personally, I didn't find this one as scary as, like, at least the first film. I liked it more because, like, the look of the thing, the feel of it, the atmosphere, it feels more like it's someone just making an X-Files episode with these characters for me. It's shot like it kind of has the same vibe to it, it's investigative noir horror mystery in a way, so it appealed to me on that level. And the comic book had a couple like backup stories, like there's like a 3 or 4 page like Tales from the Artifact Room, and some of them slightly weave into the scene, like nothing like too hard or whatnot. But if anyone's interested, I do very much recommend grabbing the hardcover collected edition. It's very, very good to me. I read it all. I read all the way through it yesterday. I was very pleased.
That quickly?
Yeah, we had a beat there a little while ago saying that Ed's trying to play sly, like, oh, I didn't take my medicine with me or anything like that. And Lorraine's like, the fuck are you doing for his heart medicine?
Oh, right.
If you're having a heart attack or something like that, you just think it's funny that you're not taking your medicine. For fuck's sake, man.
So wait, how does she know what's happening in the prison?
Yeah, I don't know.
And if that's the case, why would she call them and not somebody at the prison who should know? Because how did she find out? Unless he told her.
It's a little vague on that regard. It's like they didn't see him like calling her up and telling her about stuff or whatever.
Like, how would she know that the demon is telling him to kill himself?
Right, we missed a piece of story there.
And would the chaplain really be the one to place him on the 24-hour hold? I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, he could make a suggestion saying that, but you typically that would come from a doctor of some sort.
Or the warden.
Yeah.
He is in prison.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of fuzzy on the idea that so the totem is cursed.
Yes.
And they put the totem in the basement of the house.
Yeah.
So therefore it was able to get into the kid.
Yeah.
And then transfer to the other guy.
Uh-huh.
So the totem is no longer cursed?
Well, so did they remove the totem from the place? Because she just took pictures of it. She wasn't going to put her hands on the damn thing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so did they remove it from the house and destroy it?
So, like, once the curse started at the totem and then now it's transferred two positions to him, and the totem is no longer cursed because you know what I mean?
The lineage of power and curse, and from the Satanists up to the cursed and possessed, where it's a little dodgy.
Yeah, dodgy. So how many other totems are out there?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of torn on this. Closed on Sunday. Must be Sunday.
Yeah. It solves everything. Just leave a note. It's fine.
He wasn't always a
No
cop.
one's going to press the charges.
He fractured an occasional law when he was a kid.
Yes.
I'll leave a note. Everything's fine with a note, like you said.
Yeah.
there's something missing for me.
Okay.
If the idea is to find the person creating the curse to then destroy that person or destroy the curse, that's a fine, okay story. But I feel like we're not doing that.
Well, I think a lot of it relies on the aspect of the story you don't like so much, is her getting the visions and the clairvoyance to see what happened through other people's eyes. Through that aspect of the story, they're trying to follow further and further back to find out where things began. And
why is it all wet?
well, she fell into the cliffs and off the cliff and everything into the water.
Well, yeah, but the corpse wouldn't still be wet.
I'm not a forensic expert.
Oh, shut up. I don't know what the last time you washed your hands or took a shower was, but you weren't still wet hours later.
That's because I used a towel.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's walk around in somebody else's memory for a while.
This is what you could expect if we wanted to do all the other ones.
There's
a whole bunch of other supernatural gobbledygook.
I only had one issue with The Nun. And I don't even remember what it was, but I saw it in the theater.
Okay.
And I remember liking it up until a certain point. And it was just more like there was some one little thing that made it unbelievable. Oh, and then the ending.
There's the ending.
It was one of those oh yeah endings that try to link to other things that made you go, oh, I see, oh. And then that makes you think that you watched a good movie because the last 10 seconds reminded you of something you already knew about.
Yeah. I believe that the cult that Noble's character refers to is the Order of the Ram, which I think was mentioned in one of those other ones. One of those spin-off films. So they're trying to link things off from the wider universe.
Okay, but if I haven't seen those, then I don't know.
I don't fuck all. Right. I haven't seen any of them.
I watched Annabelle and I watched The Nun.
It's more than I've watched.
The Nun was okay. Annabelle I thought was awful.
That's the word on that one. I heard that the second one they made was far better. Because I think that was David Sandberg, I think it is. He's done some fine stuff.
So now she's in the mind of the occultist?
Yeah. Lorraine's linked to the cultist is linked to Arnie. We're all just rolling around in circles.
Now, what was the occultist linked to when it was only a totem? Did she, could she make that little statue move around the basement by itself? She had to use the words Black Sabbath when he had a Black Sabbath poster in his room?
Hey, more on the nose. The nose is going to get raw from all this tapping on
I mean,
it.
I need a little top dollar toot if I'm going to be...
Up the nose.
Up the nose.
Not on the nose.
Oh, up the nose, right. That's her, that's the witch.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Sure.
You can have anything you want happen. It's such a shame because these characters could have such great, like, old-timey investigative murder mysteries.
Sure.
Even if they involved an element of supernatural or something, you know.
Sure.
Like, I take the position of that the black guy cop from the other town.
Sure.
Where if there's people out there that believe that they are possessed or can possess, and I'm chasing those people, like, that's a far more realistic situation than actual possession.
Sure.
And clairvoyancy. And pregnant ghosts. Like, you know, if you've got somebody out there acting in the name of God and doing weird things, but they're still just normal people thinking that they're not normal, human. Then we have humans hunting humans that are crazy.
Sure.
As opposed to humans hunting demons and...
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I do get that when people... Or when this came out, there's like... There were people like you and there were people like me. And it's kind of divided around the entire thing. And I definitely get it. Because it definitely feels a lot different from the previous two films. It's again, it's more investigative. They're kind of going all over the place trying to collect evidence and stuff like that. And so, like, you're kind of this tight-knit location or whatnot. And all of it's unfolding in one place. And this feels like it's more of a sprawling story to a degree. And it's much more of a different tone overall. So I could definitely feel like people just being kind of turned off with this one.
I'm also kind of upset or questioning of the title. So, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
It's
more from the headlines or whatnot from back at the time of the fence.
Right. But the story isn't about
the devil.
That.
No.
The story's not about the devil, and it's also no longer about Arnie and his quest to be exonerated. Yeah. Which, The Devil Made Me Do It, like, that would be a different story altogether.
Yeah.
That's why I think what I wanted.
Yeah.
Is because we skipped over the trial.
Yeah, that's what kind of what I mentioned and everything. It's like
he's already guilty. He's in jail.
Yeah, because I mean, in the actual story, he is convicted.
Right.
So it's best not to kind of, just for trying to pick it as sort of a semi-fictionalized story, it's best not to try to tangle the story up in legalese for like 30, 40 minutes. When we already know if anyone knows the story, you already know where the end game is, and any other attempts are futile because it doesn't get anywhere anyway.
Right, but wouldn't it have been better if all of this shit was in the middle, and at the end, like, if they were, like, at this point, why do they even care what happened to the other girl? Because
she's dead.
She's dead, and Arnie's already in jail. Like, it's over.
I mean, the sentencing hasn't happened. He's still incarcerated for the entire thing, for the trial and everything.
Right,
but yeah, I'm just... It's focusing more on just like them trying to do good and trying to stop evil. And that's basic story of the whole thing. So I get what you're saying, that the title thing leads you towards one path of what the expectation is, but they kind of abandon what that story is to follow along a different path that's tangential to that original idea.
Right. That's what I don't like.
Yeah.
On top of the supernatural shit.
Yeah. Because even the trailers were like very much kind of focused on, this is Arnie's story, this is the true story that happened. We're kind of focusing on that when it's not really what the crux of the story is really about.
There's literally the word...
They really could have just removed that and did a completely different story besides that.
Right. But they decided to put the word me in the title. And me is not the subject of the story.
No.
Anymore. It was for 20 minutes.
Right.
It really should have just been The Conjuring 3.
Yeah, they didn't need to have a subtitle. I mean, the second one, like overseas, where the Enfield thing was much more known, like the UK, they did slap it on there, but other than that, it's not necessary for this.
Oh, you can see it too? I don't know.
At least in the casting part, they cast her very well with this look and everything. I mean, it's
good.
Very striking. But again, as they've kind of shifted things off to beyond just demonic possession stuff, it's incorporating a wider spectrum of paranormal type of stuff and occultist stuff. I could definitely, again, feel why some people just aren't quite won over with the film. They've kind of got used to a certain style of story, and now they kind of change up the style of story. I mean, there's more than the previous two films. It's much more of a Warren story.
Right.
Everyone else is just supporting players overall.
So he was seeing...
Yeah. And that's a lot more like what happens in that comic prequel type of thing. She makes people see other things than what's actually happening in front of them.
Right, but at some point there, they could have shown it from the other perspective.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, I didn't realize that...
Yeah.
Like, it took me just a second to figure out that she didn't just walk in the door and go, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, he was chasing after her the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, they could have shown one shot of it with her. You know, like her saying, no.
Yeah.
And then gone back to the other one where you see it from his point of view and you realize...
Like, conversely, in the comic, when they do that type of stuff, you can definitely tell it's very stylized stuff, so I can visually tell this is something that's not really actually happening in the situation. She's being led down a path that's different from the reality in front of her.
Why did that require a gasp and a scream? Because there's a totem inside the vase?
I don't know how you fit that inside of that bottleneck on that thing. As you're bored of
lines and drawings.
Lines and stuff, and connections.
Well, that's fine.
You gotta have a map.
I don't even know where they were. Like, I've lost track. I don't even know what's happening. Like, whose house were they in just now?
I think the Warrens' house, I believe.
They were in their own house.
I think so. It feels different from the house in the previous two films. Maybe it's just how they're photographing and lighting it.
And the one who screamed is their daughter. Okay, got it.
I think so, yeah. Again, as they've had several years between the films, now the kid
is grown up
another 7 years or something. The last one was 2016, so they shot this probably at least 5 years after the fact.
So, if the totem was then in the Warren house, I don't know how it got there, which is part of what they're trying to figure out.
The witch would have had broken into their house to place it in the first place.
Which I guess means that it was trying to take over. It was trying to take over Ed Warren.
Yeah.
But it didn't. So therefore the curse is still in the totem. In theory?
As you're pinpointing these things, yes, it's a little underdefined exactly how all of it functions. As you've always said, I like to set up some rules on a horror film so you can follow where the parameters of the story should land and what the consequences are of certain things and how certain elements work together.
Yeah, like I've always said, if I don't mind if the story you're telling me is completely weird and like out of the realm of believability, as long as you tell me the rules up front and then follow the rules as you go. Mm-hmm. Like, I may not like it still, but at least it's a valid argument. You know what I mean? Like, it's a valid case.
Yeah.
Like, I look at everything logically. Like, it doesn't have to be believable as far as, I can suspend disbelief.
Like, he left his nitroglycerin behind again.
Of course he did. He's a forgetful old prick. Lord of the Rings is a good example.
Yeah.
Like, Lord of the Rings is a fantasy film.
Yeah.
But it starts off with an everyday guy who gets thrust into a journey of unbelievable circumstances. Yeah. And as you go along, you learn the rules and you follow along on the journey. Mm-hmm. Even though it's completely unbelievable as a whole, like, Harry Potter's the same way. The whole concept of Harry Potter is that this child learns that he is a wizard.
Okay.
And as the years go on, he learns the world of magic as you, the audience, learn the world of magic. Obviously, it doesn't exist. It's completely unbelievable. But you're following the rules with the characters. I don't know what the hell is going on here. What are the rules of this totem?
I mean, that's why we had so many problems with the later Elm Street ones. Like, they just threw the fucking rules out and just did what the fuck.
Right, they can be shitty rules, but
at least gotta follow the rules.
Give me the rule and then follow it.
Yeah.
I feel like of the idea, all these modern horror movies.
Sure, yeah.
They're all kind of set up as a collection of good ideas or good scenes.
Sure.
But they're missing the story thread.
Okay.
You know, like...
You probably watch more of them than I do.
I'm just thinking in general. Yes, just... it. Now, that's not to say that there aren't exceptions, because there are. But it's almost like they're sitting down to write these movies, and they go, okay, what if we had a scene where this happens? And what if we had a scene where this happens?
Sure.
Now, how do we figure out how to link them? Mm-hmm. It goes back to the old thing that I learned 20 years ago from Trey Parker of South Park. That when you're writing out your screenplay, you don't want this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. You want this happens, and then because of that, this next thing happens. Yes. Because of that, this next thing happens.
Yes.
Which I guess I always knew, but I didn't think about it until Trey Parker put it on a whiteboard in front of me. In 1932, you had a child? That was 50 years ago. Yeah, I don't buy it.
I mean, basically the story. Well,
go ahead.
Well, basically the story they're telling is like his obsession with all this dark occultist stuff that he swallowed himself into imprinted itself on his daughter, who now became an even worse version of what he was.
So that picture that they just showed is to tell us that the witch in question is his daughter.
Yes.
Who is alive or dead?
She's alive.
Because that calls into question why Warren could see her in his kitchen. She's a living person and not a ghost.
Yeah.
I'm curious how that happened.
Oh.
Unless she just culted herself into a figment of his imagination.
I understand what you're getting at. That there's you either have to fully submerge yourself into the supernatural, the paranormal stuff, and just take it as just like a witch can do a lot of random things, or it just doesn't make any sense to you whatsoever.
Yeah, they haven't told me what a witch can do in this movie.
Sure. His performance is fantastic.
There's tunnels under that land, like in Rambo 4, 5.
Or in the Friday the 13th reboot. Jason's just subterranean all the time.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I like that one, though.
Yeah, that one's fine. I want to grab the 4K. Arrows probably did a fantastic job on it.
I'm good with just the set that I've got.
Yeah, I'm tempted.
I'd like to see it.
Well, if I grab it, I can you can borrow it.
All right, awesome. Thanks. We loan each other stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is in the tunnels. They really did cast her well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Even though she's forgetful. Like, Maybe it's not just because they had 2 spin-off movies, but the nun character was so iconic.
Oh, yeah.
Valak, excuse me.
Yeah.
You sure you don't accidentally have letters randomly decorated around your house that spell out a demon's name that you don't...
write them in blood now. Like I said, that comic book, man, is fucking even more graphic than this shit, man. They got eyeballs being ripped out and goats being gutted.
Oh, gutted goats. As a Cubs fan, I appreciate that.
Fucking hard, man. I was like, shit. Slap a rating on this thing.
She's in the tunnel now, is that...
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where the witch
Trying
lives.
to find her altar.
Oh, conveniently built on plywood in the tunnel. And here's the old cup runneth over that she's been dreaming about.
Yeah. What must it be like for the art department on this film? to dig up all this fucking crap.
Well,
You just hit up Michael's in October. You're fine.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe
They got some crazy shit over there right now.
It would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I wonder how long they have. You know, like...
The prep?
The production team.
Yeah.
Like, obviously they meet with the director and they say, here's what we have in mind.
Yeah.
And then, how long between that meeting and shoot day do I have, do I have a week?
Collect all this stuff, yeah.
Do I have a week? Do I have 2 months? How long do I have to put this together?
If it was New Line Cinema in the 80s, you got like 2 days.
Well...
Since you got to be in the theater in a month.
Yeah, no shit.
No time left.
We wrote the script yesterday.
I would imagine the New Line Cinema of Warner Brothers at this time is going to give you a little more breathing room to kind of get things in order.
The entrance to the tunnel's on the top of the hill? Who built the tunnels? That's a cool shot.
Yeah.
Am I completely ridiculous in wondering all these stupid things? Like, that's really well choreographed.
Yeah.
Because that's just a stunt double. That's
Yeah.
not... Where'd he come from? Oh, that's her.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that's a handsome woman. At least they've set up the idea that she can see through the witch's eyes.
Yeah.
Even though I don't agree with it.
Sure.
The witch looks an awful lot like Arnie.
I was going to say that what they did with the lighting there or whatever, it kind of shaped their faces similarly.
Which is why I thought it was Arnie in that first... the first shot. And maybe this makes more sense if you read it on paper.
I mean, like you said, whatever they're doing with staging these sequences, they're doing a very good job of it. I don't know if there's what kind of trick photography they're doing, if they're doing something in editing for certain things. Like when you have Lorraine running down, but then it changes into the witch. Well, he's showing some good craft on that regard. I mean, just filmmaking skills.
Yeah, the cinematography's great.
Yeah.
Which includes the lighting there.
Yeah.
The lighting is awesome.
He ain't up for this.
No. The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah.
We know. Throw yourself out the window.
We've seen 100 exorcisms in films. There's not a whole lot of new things you can do with an exorcism anymore.
You gotta see Emily Rose.
So.
You gotta see Emily Rose.
I'm sure. I'm just saying. There's a lot of films that you see that make you convinced that there's not a whole lot of new things to do with it because they all just keep doing the same fucking thing.
Right.
So. It's the contortionist, it's the wind blowing around, it's all the same tricks.
Right, the flip-flopping, the bed up and down. He's got the regular Zelda back there. He's dragging that along like... I don't know who. Somebody. A little reminiscent of The Shining, but...
Yeah.
Dragging the axe. Even in The Exorcist, they did that kind of silhouette shot.
Yeah, with the Pazuzu statue and everything.
Yeah. Ow. The consistency of the contortionist is nice.
Yeah.
Considering, it did that to the little boy.
Kid, yeah.
At least the guards are watching this, and it's not, like...
Completely in isolation.
Right, like somebody can say, oh, I saw that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very Shining.
Yeah.
At least this is, this is exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Not so much this part, but I think the possession sequences, as unbelievable as they are actually really good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm perfectly fine with possession as a topic.
Yeah.
Even though I don't believe in it personally, I think that's easier to watch than like ghosts.
Okay.
And things shape-shifting around. You know what I mean? All she had to do was say, remember who I am and that I love you, and then... I'll rebook the territory.
Okay.
Wouldn't it have been even better if she tried that and it didn't work, and he went to attack her. She moves out of the way, and he accidentally breaks the altar, breaking the curse.
I mean, I see what they're doing here is that they're trying to reinforce the strength of the bond between the two characters.
Oh, I get it. But clearly, just talking the demon out of it hasn't worked ever before.
The closest we got was at the beginning when he's like, "Oh,
take me," right,
and stuff like that. But that's more talking to the demon than the kid underneath.
Right.
So.
Right, like that's the first time ever that it's really happened like that.
Yeah.
I broke your altar, your curse is broken? How do we know that? You know what I mean? Like, there's just...
Yeah, they haven't brought that up before, that's the thing.
Right.
It would have been nice to kind of lay that out as part of what a curse would have been.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying this film is like sound in all its concepts and everything like that. I just find parts of it appealing to my sensibilities and some other things here and there. I like the mood, the look of the film, all that type of stuff. Again, Wilson, Farmiga are phenomenal every single time.
I like him way more than her.
Okay. I mean, if they are doing a fourth one, I would definitely like to see something other than this type of story. You know, I think they're bringing back the same director, but...
Well, yeah,
I don't think the direction is bad on the
No,
film.
I don't either.
No.
I mean, he's working with what he's got.
Yeah, that's a lot of things. Like, there can be faults in the screenplay, but that's not really so much a director's fault.
No, his job is to take that and make it better.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess he has.
Yeah.
Where were the tunnels in relation to the water?
Yeah.
Explain that.
I like to see a diagram of that.
It's so easy, though. They've got a whole room full of stories here.
Like that monkey thing's in one of the comic stories they have in it, and a couple other things.
Like those little soldier guys, like, I want to know that story.
Yeah.
I mean, that is such a Georgia courthouse.
Oh, yeah.
It's not Bridgeport, Connecticut,
No.
That's for sure.
It's as grand and southern as it gets.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite have that New England architecture that really convinced me.
No, none. I mean, that looks New England.
Yeah, that shoreline and everything. Yeah, sure.
And I guess now we've turned it right back around to a...
Yeah.
into a courtroom drama, but...
Yeah. Right for the tag to wrap it up, yeah. So, again, going with the entire thing of the devil made me do it, to focus the film on that, knowing that the ending is futile anyway, because they're never going to convince the court that that the entire thing was real.
Right.
So, it's a dodgy prospect to set the premise of the film up as the expectation.
Just like in 1951 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. And even the fact there's not even a courtroom scene where after the where they put in the plea, where they put in,
Yeah.
what do they call it? Answer the charge to it.
Yeah.
Never brought up again of them trying to convince the court of that defense ever. The entire film spends no time on it at all.
Right. Right. The fact that he was convicted of manslaughter and not first-degree murder
Yeah.
is supposed to indicate that...
They got some kind of
Right.
chip down
Right.
on the entire thing.
Right. So, no, there's tomorrow. Yeah,
Tom
tomorrow with
Snyder.
Tom Snyder.
I love Tom Snyder, man. He was a great interviewer.
The photos of Ed and Lorraine always make me cringe because,
They look nothing like the actors,
well, she...
and they actually look a lot. They actually appear a lot older in the footage, in the archival stuff.
Yeah, they're like 20 years older.
Yeah. That's why I feel like it feels so weird having Vera Farmiga in those clothes, because it feels like what your grandma would have been wearing in 1981.
And the
Not a
Lorraine
middle-aged
Warren,
woman.
the actual footage, Lorraine is a grandma.
Yeah, she looked definitely.
And I think Vera looks more like Lorraine than
Ed and
Ed
Wilson.
does. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
there's nothing at all.
He's like 20 years.
Yeah.
Why are they so young?
Yeah. I kind of get you want to catch younger so you can have a longevity with the franchise when you're trying to think it's probably going to be a franchise.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but in terms of like, I mean, as I've said kind of from the beginning, this whole thing based on true events. But
right.
You just kind of smudge that away. It's like, okay, just tell me a story that can be convincing to me.
Well, this one wasn't.
If you want to lay something on there for marketing or whatnot, fine or whatnot, I'm going to brush that aside and just take it on a screenplay level and decide whether or not you told a good story or did you not tell a good story. So, but like I said, I'm not going to try to defend the film against someone like you as like as holes in it, because like
Right, because clearly
the content of the film strikes you in a different way than it strikes me. I don't have as many problems with the supernatural stuff, but I definitely see where you're coming from in terms of like some of the concepts don't feel quite so solid. They're not quite as well defined. It's a little nebulous in too many places in that regard.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, I don't mind if I don't believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to tell me a story that I can follow.
Right.
And just because it has flashy scenes and scary scenes and well-made, crafted scenes,
Yeah.
that's fine, but
Yeah.
can you piece them together in a way that is logical?
Right. And the fact Arnie, it's hard to even say Arnie's even a secondary character in the film, almost like a tertiary character in the film.
Almost.
And what I liked so much from the first film, they had a very balanced story between the Warrens and the family. So everyone got an equal amount of weight in the story there, and now it's kind of tipped off to the other degree. So, like I said, if they're doing a fourth film, I'd like to see more of a return to that kind of balance. I don't mind just spending time developing the Warrens because they're two phenomenal actors in the whole thing, but I like that balance so much. We're not kind of marginalizing the other characters, kind of making them superfluous to the rest of the story. I'd like to have that equality in the story.
Yeah, it's almost like your your superhero movie.
Right.
You want to have equal time between your hero and your villain.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and this one wasn't even like an origin story either.
No.
Which you could justify having it be more about the Warrens if it was how they got started, or
something like that.
More biographical about them.
It seems like they're just less interested in dealing with the real life case, because they probably felt like there was kind of finite places to go with it being sort of courtroom based and whatnot, and why you wanted to deal with something that's just go out there and do more radical things with it. So
right, because if you otherwise you have a courtroom drama.
Yeah, and that could get real. That's not what you're selling.
Right, exactly.
They're phenomenal films that have done courtroom stuff very well, and there's some that make it dull as dry toast.
Most of them are great, though.
Yeah.
God damn. I love a courtroom drama.
But yeah, that wouldn't be the thing that you want for this whole thing.
Right, like if you went into A Few Good Men and it turned into a horror movie, you'd be like,
what the fuck is this?
What's happening? Right. Right, so clearly you don't want to go into this and have it be A Few Good Men.
Right, no, it's not the flavor. Not what you're selling. Like all those VFX folks.
There's your money.
Yeah, that when you got this many people doing effects, they all gotta get paid worth a damn. Some don't get paid nearly as much when they're cranking things out, short schedules and overtime, and that's been a real problem as of late in the industry. But clearly they gave them enough time, because we really didn't comment on anything looking like a bad effect in this thing. It all came together pretty seamlessly.
Yeah.
Some things are obviously like, okay, that must have been an effect, but it wasn't like, oh, that looks like shit or something like that. So.
Right. There was something there that was taken from Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Huh.
Piece of music, I guess.
Okay, probably.
They were in the music section.
Okay.
But it was taken from Exorcism of Emily Rose. So, shout out to that movie. Jennifer Carpenter. Oh my God. I don't know how she didn't get nominated for an Oscar. And you've liked all of his other work, so I know that you're going to like that one.
Yeah. The only one I saw that I didn't quite like from Derrickson was Delivers from Evil. It was that Eric Bana sort of New York cop supernatural thing. Where
I don't think I saw that one.
That one's a big possession movie, too. The cop aspects I like, but some of the stuff just didn't feel like, maybe I can revisit it, maybe it'll feel better, but I didn't.
You know why I didn't like this movie?
For me.
I didn't have my Warner Brothers ball cap.
Oh, well.
That's the whole thing.
Oh, well.
Maybe next time.
Any which way. So, guys, thanks for joining us on this one. Hope you'll join us for the next couple. So, guys, thanks very much for joining us and having a decent time with things.
See you next time.
Later.